You are still the best in the world. I need your help.
The plot thickens.
The Catledge family are socialized in the south of France. There's a woman who has them believing she's a spirit medium. You are the greatest debunker of fake spiritualists.
She won't fool me.
Sophie looked into my eyes and told me things about me she could never have known.
I'm told she's very pleasant to look at.
She's a visionary and a vision.
I'm getting a mental impression. Are you from the Orient? Far East?
Considering you are Wailing Sue, that's pretty damn impressive.
You're a very clever little humbug.
I think you'll trick me into showing you how I deceive people.
Stanley doesn't believe in spiritualists. He thinks you're all scoundrels. She's quite likable, even if she's a fraud.
My mental impressions are cloudy.
Are they cumulus clouds or cirrus?
You're making fun of me.
Mr. Tapper is rather obnoxious.
But he's not entirely unappealing.
I understand you're holding a seance tonight.
The planets are in alignment.
Now, I will summon the unseen world. Give us a sign.
The more I watch her, the more I'm stumped. Could she be real? I'm beginning to question my own common sense.
You've always been so certain about the world, and I've always tried to teach you that we don't know.
Tell me something about my Aunt Vanessa'S colourful past.
I see a member of Parliament.
Go on.
A love affair.
You cannot possibly know this. I'm overwhelmed, Sophie. I never dreamed you could look this beautiful. I believe that the dull reality of life is all there is, but you are proof that there's more. More mystery, more magic.
You're gonna die!
Run! My aunt used to bring me here as a boy. The roof opens up. You can see the universe. It's menacing.
You find that menacing? I'd say it was pretty romantic.
Ever thought that Woody Allen would become a travelogue filmmaker? And I find it particularly ironic, deliciously ironic, because of where he started out. Of course, in his native New York City, and he made a name for himself showing that native point of view, a very realistic depiction of what it was like to actually live in New York City, at least in some specific neighborhoods. Then, of course, after that peters out for him and he isn't getting quite the recognition that he once did, he jumps the pond to Europe, where he shows the exact opposite point of view, a very romantic point of view, the tourist's point of view, a movie, dreamlike version of these cities, to the level, I would say, almost of Alfred Hitchcock, which is quite the compliment because that's something that Hitchcock was known for. That was as big a part of his movies as everything else, the setting, the glamour. And very few other filmmakers have really tried to capture that, which I find odd because Hitchcock had so much success with it. And so has Woody Allen. Really beautiful films. Midnight in Paris, To Rome with Love, although I'll get to that in a moment. That was a horrible movie, even though the setting was pretty good. But, you know, Match Point started the trend. Of course, Vicky Cristina Barcelona to some degree. These are all his European Renaissance movies in his career. And now, of course, he's going to the south of France. Would I like to go to the south of France with Woody Allen? Yes, I would. But it's going to have to be a little bit of a leap of faith for a few reasons. First of all, as I said, To Rome with Love. I came into that film off the strength of Midnight in Paris. I was very excited to see it, and yet I was so let down by it. I think that Woody Allen failed to capture what was unique about Rome. He just made it look like a dirtier version of Paris, and I thought the story was really poor. And Jesse Eisenberg was a little too on the nose as a Woody Allen stand-in. So that was a problem for me, so I worry about a repeat of that. And then, of course, this seems like one of his lighter movies, and I think Woody Allen, when he doesn't have some dark edge, particularly these days, to kind of latch onto and to kind of to ground the film, even though it's in this dream setting, he has a problem. And some people have said this film reminds him of The Curse of the Jade Scorpion, and I would agree. And that was another Woody Allen film I had a very hard time sitting through. Woody Allen's kind of infamous, you could say, for these ups and downs in his career in terms of quality. And, you know, you have to kind of hope against hope that this isn't one of the low points. Although, as I think is his safety net these days, how bad can it be when you're going to be looking at the south of France as the way Woody Allen has it on display here? It's as beautiful as To Catch a Thief, that, of course, that Alfred Hitchcock film in Monaco. Just spectacular. And, you know, I have to say, on the side note, Alfred Hitchcock did apply this glamour to New York City, and perhaps Woody Allen at some point would be willing to return to his hometown and show it through this lens that he's mastered overseas. So he also, I have to say that he did jump back across the pond and then hop, skipped, and jumped over our own country to the West Coast for Blue Jasmine, which wasn't in a romantic setting so much. You know, he saw that city from a darker perspective because that's where his lead character, Jasmine, was personally. But then again, that film succeeded, I think, because of the darker elements. So here you see a lighter thing for Woody Allen, which makes me a little nervous. I mean, obviously there does seem to be a message at hand about, you know, don't be a cynic, you know, be open to the magic in life. And that's a great message, but let's see if Woody Allen can pull it off. It reminds me a little bit of the message in Midnight in Paris, and that worked out wonderfully. But I think one of the reasons that Midnight in Paris worked out, besides the message and the cityscape, was because Owen Wilson was such a wonderful, brilliant, outside-of-the-box casting decision in terms of who was going to stand in for Woody Allen. That's what he does these days. Sometimes he still acts in his films. He's just coming off of Fading Gigolo, a John Turturro movie where he's supporting, and that did surprisingly well in the independent box office, you know, in the specialty market. So Woody Allen still has it on screen, but, you know, he's taken a step back in his own films to go behind the camera. So, you know, you always wonder who's the Woody Allen character, and I can't quite decide who that's supposed to be here. Now, you might think Colin Firth, because he's the lead, but he doesn't seem to be doing a Woody Allen impression at all. I mean, whenever anybody's cast in that role, they tend to try and do their best Woody Allen. And that's one of the things that was so great about Owen Wilson, because you realize that he kind of was Woody Allen even in his own persona. It was a great match. But Colin Firth doesn't seem to be doing that here. So I wonder if maybe, you know, Hamish Linklater is supposed to be the Woody Allen stand-in. I'm a big Hamish Linklater fan, by the way, as any New Adventures of Old Christine fan would be. That's the Clark Gregg show, of course. A lot of talent on that show. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So I'm glad to see him here. So I'm wondering who the Woody Allen stand-in is supposed to be. I can't quite see it yet. But then there's another problem. And this is the big one. And I'm curious as to if it's bothering you or if you even noticed it, but I really did. And I've seen some other people notice it with this trailer debut. And that's the age difference between Emma Stone and Colin Firth. Now, to Emma Stone's credit, she looks like a great choice for a Woody Allen movie, for a Woody Allen heroine. He has a very distinct writing style, and it often really is to the benefit of his actresses. Look at Cate Blanchett, just got an Oscar. And I think that Emma Stone looks like a great choice for him. And I think, fascinatingly, he seems to be softening her image, which, you know, Woody Allen, his leading ladies often have some bite to them. So I think that's very interesting. And of course, she signed on for his next film already, so you see another partnership blossoming, just like Woody Allen worked with Scarlett Johansson a couple of times and greatly advanced her career. But anyway, everybody looks great in their respective roles. But when you put Colin Firth and Emma Stone together, it really underlines just how a ridiculous pairing they are in terms of a romance. Because he is more than twice her age. She's 25, he's 53. And on his own, he could pass, I think, for in his 40s. But when you put him next to Emma Stone, you're like, you are so much older than her. Now, of course, I understand that this is something that Hollywood has always done. They've always paired much older actors with much younger actresses. But it's usually been about a 20-year age gap. This, you know, almost a 30-year age gap, I think, is just stretching this beyond even the suspension of disbelief. It just takes you out of the movie. Now, if this was a movie about a May-December romance, fine, let's go there. But it's not. They're not even addressing it in the trailer. And I guess they're like, well, if maybe we don't bring it up, no one else will notice it. It's noticeable. And I think that this, you know, not only is it hard to, you know, believe, but I don't think it does the actors any favors, because it's gotten to a point where it makes it clear how much older they are. And as I said, Colin Firth could have passed for 40 maybe, but now you're definitely so much older than Emma Stone. And Tom Cruise has this problem. As he gets older, as he continues to insist on casting actresses much younger than himself as his leading lady, Tom Cruise, again, by himself, looks great next to a much younger actress in her 20s or like early 30s, and you're like, you're a lot older, Tom Cruise. And I even noticed this in X-Men Days of Future Past, that Michael Fassbender next to Jennifer Lawrence looked so much older. And on his own, he looks quite virile. He looks like, you know, a happening guy. But then when you put him next to Jennifer Lawrence, you're like, you cradle robber. Come on, oldie McFassbender, move on. And that doesn't benefit anybody. So I'm just curious to what you guys think. Do you notice it? Does this go beyond the suspension of disbelief to you? You know, or do you think Colin Firth is so hot, anybody, he could get anyone? What do you think of the casting choices here, the story, and the setting? And what do you think of Woody Allen's, you know, is this going to be another win for him in his European column? Or do you think that maybe that's starting to peter out as well and he's losing his way just as he did with New York City? All right, write your thoughts down below. Thank you for tuning into my review, and you can check out some more episodes right now.